Everyone, Katie with Backcountry Beader, and we just went on a quick ski. It was a super quick one in Patty Canyon, Missoula, Montana. It was -2 degrees when we got here, and a little too chilly for the puppy. So, but we brought a kit to work on. So we just traveled with our little Backcountry Beader camping kit with our tools in it. So we're just gonna lay out a bead mat, and this is I'm gonna be working on the Lunar landing necklace that's available on the website. So are the toolkits, and it's a quick one. This is a great beginner project that you can do in your truck. So your dirty truck works well. So we're gonna be using some round nose pliers. That's the green handled ones in the kit. Some chain nose pliers, blue handle, and our wire cutters, yellow handle. So the round nose pliers help us make the loops, so that's awesome. And then I'm just gonna get the kit out. So we're gonna be using sterling silver 26 gauge wire that comes in the kit. Our length of oxidized sterling silver satellite chain. This is 16 inches in length, but you can cut it down if you'd like to have it shorter, like a choker. And today I'm gonna do the labradorite stone that comes with it. The total finished length of this piece with the stone and the wire wraps that we're gonna do is 17 inches. So that's why I say if you want to cut it down, you can absolutely cut this chain at any time. So the first thing I like to do is attach the labradorite. So I'm just gonna unwind my wire. And you'll probably have some wire left over too, just so you know. I'm gonna eyeball this out, but it's gonna be about a 3-inch section of wire. I'm gonna use my wire cutters to cut that. And then I'm just gonna set it aside. Gonna grab my green handled round nose, and now I'm just gonna make my first loop. So we make a nice right angle or 90-degree angle, and that's gonna set it up so that our loop is centered. And then I'm gonna come back around with the nose of my pliers, just like that. And before I wrap it closed, I'm gonna open it back up and I'm gonna attach it to my chain. Just like that, so the chain's hanging from it. And now I'm gonna close off my loop. I'm gonna do that by wrapping this little tail here. You wanna wrap it at least one time so that it's fully closed. I usually do 3. Don't worry if you have excess, because again, this is where your wire cutters come in. So I've got a little bit of that tail left on there. So I'm just gonna take the back end of my cutters, back them in, get as close as I can to that tail and snip it off. And now I'm gonna thread my bead. Just like that. Okay, now we wanna make a loop on the other side. So now I'm gonna use my round nose pliers. You wanna make sure that you pull the wire gently to make sure you're taking up all the space. See that I have a little bit of space between the top of my bead and my nose of my pliers. And that's typically gonna fit the nose of your plier when you make that 90-degree angle. Then you're gonna go slightly above that angle again, come back around like you did before, and now you've got your tail. You're gonna open it back up, and you're gonna attach your chain just like you did on the other side. I'm just gonna thread it all the way through. So there it is attached. And now I'm gonna close it off. So what I like to do is I'm just gonna grab onto that loop with either side of my, put the loop between the nose of the pliers. And now I'm gonna close this off. And then we'll snip it. again, I like to back in because I think you get a cleaner cut back in. So that's the front of your cutters, that's the back. So when you back it in, I think you can get a better flush cut. And so we can save that piece because that's a good size. And then we're going to use the chain nose pliers because they have that flat interior in the mouth. If you need to, if you have any tails sticking out, that's when we take care of them, is after all the wrapping's been done. And that all looks good. Okay, so now we need to add the clasp. So you're like super close to being done. So we're going to look at this. So we just want to find the halfway point in the back of the chain, and we're just going to cut it. So this is when you would find if you want to change your length or not. So you might cut it in half in the back and lay it against your skin and see if you like the length and decide if you want to take off a couple links. And if you do, I would recommend using these satellite beads that are on here as a marker. So for instance, if you wanted to make it shorter, you might cut right below that satellite bead and then do the same on the other side. If you want it even shorter, go to the next satellite bead. So that way you're sure that you have a good link in and also that it's symmetrical. If you want it symmetrical, you might want it asymmetrical. Okay, so now we're going to attach our clasp. So we're going to use that excess piece of wire to make our first side that's actually going to be the loop that our clasp goes into. So it's going to be that same angled loop that we've been doing. Keep it open so we can attach it to our chain. Run it through. And we're going to close this off. Right? So remember, you want to do at least one to keep it fully closed. I'm just going to do a couple. But then we're going to make another loop at the top that our clasp is going to hook into. So I'm going to snip that piece off. And then I'm going to make my angle. And now I'm going to go further down on the nose, just right in the middle of the plier, to make a nice loop. Like that. Like that. And now I'm going to close it off the same way we've been doing it. And I'm actually overlapping. I'm going over that wrap that I did in the beginning to connect it. And I just feel like I like to do that because it enforces it really well. And now, snip that off. I'll use my chain nose pliers. Like that. Like that. Okay. Now we're ready to add the clasp on the other side. So you'll see you get tons of wire. So if you make any mistakes, you've got enough to take care of that. So I'm just going to cut another piece. This one's about 2 inches. Which is probably more than enough, but it's better to have more than enough than not enough. We're going to make that same loop, that 90 degrees, using the small end nose of the plier. We're going to attach it to the chain. Just like this. We're going to close it off with at least one full time around, but I'd like to do several. Just like that. We're going to snip it.
Oh, this is what I need.
And then we're going to snip it. And make an angle like this, and make our loop again. And now we're just going to thread our clasp on. Our clasp has this nice loop right here, and we're just going to thread that on just like this, and then we're going to close it off. And that might be just about 15 minutes, 10, not even, maybe 10 minutes to make this. So this is a really good beginner project to do. Super fun and easy. Making a gift, making something for yourself. You can take it camping. It packs very well. You can take it backpacking, take it skiing like we did today. Something you can do when you're in the yurt, getting a warm up before you go back out and just taking a break. And these are all sterling silver components, and then the labradorite, and then there you have your lunar landing necklace. So, pretty fun. Thanks so much for joining today. I hope you enjoy your backcountry beater kits. Bye.